Okay, we have over 30 Kudam on the call, but Ina still raised his hand. So Dr. Sadiq Sir, Bismillah. So all of us that are members of Kuda, is it that we don't love Quran or you don't want to read Quran? But let's allow a nurse who has raised his hand, Dr. Abdulsalam Sadiq Sir, who is the MGQ coordinator and of course part of the Avila for this Ibara, to recite for us from the Quran. Bismillah, Dr. Sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى بن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمن طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفر الطائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم فأصبحوا ظاهرين. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. Respected Dr. Sam, thank you very much for the beautiful rendition of the Quran. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept that for us as an act of dua. Jazakumullah khairan, and for that we sincerely appreciate. The next on the agenda is a welcome address by respected Mutama staff to welcoming all members and to actually highlight the purpose of this session. Respected Mutama staff, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Beloved brothers, respected Sada Sahib, MKA Nigeria, respected MKAN SADR, respected Kormuk officers, respected Ilako Koidin, Dilia Koidin, and Makom Koidin, and respected brothers in Islam. I say once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me the great pleasure on behalf of the respected Sahib and the entire leadership of the MKA-NIGERIA Nigeria to warmly welcome every one of you to this very special interactive session that is tagged Zoom Time with SADR. Today's gathering is not just another meeting. It is a blessed opportunity for us as Kudam to sit at the feet of our leader, to learn, to share, and to renew our commitment to the noble responsibilities entrusted to us. Beloved brothers, this session carries three very important purposes. Number one is it serves as a platform for questions and clarifications. As we all know, that often in our majalis work, we face challenges, uncertainties, and situations that require guidance. Instead of keeping these concerns to ourselves, these sessions allows us to raise them directly to the highest level with the assurance that clear and practical direction will be given. Secondly, it also gives us a chance to share ideas and contribute to the progress of Majlis Quddam Ahmadiyya Nigeria. As we know that the Majlis Quddam Ahmadiyya Nigeria is not the work of one person or a few officers. It is the collective effort of every Khadim. Each of us has unique ideas, experiences, and perspectives that can help shape the future of the Majlis. By contributing here, we strengthen not just our own local majalis, but the entire body of Khodam across Nigeria. And lastly, it also serves as an avenue to receiving direct guidance and inspirations from the respected Salah Sahib. As we know that we live in a time where distractions, difficulties, and pressures are everywhere. The guidance of our leader is a source of strength and direction for us. Listening to his words today is not just to hear instructions, but to be inspired, to rekindle our passion, to align ourselves with the objectives of the Majlis, and to connect our service directly with the spirit of Khilafah. Respected brothers, let us remember that as Kudam, we are not ordinary youths. We are servants of Islam Ahmadiyya. We are the helpers of the Jamaat. Every instructions, every piece of advice, and every word of guidance we receive today is meant to equip us for that sacred responsibility. I therefore urge all of us to take this session very seriously. Let us participate with open hearts and minds. Ask your questions sincerely. Share your ideas boldly and listen attentively to the words of the other side. If we do this, we will leave this session stronger, more united, and more determined to serve Allah, the Jamaat, and humanity. May Allah Ta'ala bless this gathering. May He grant all success, and may He enable us to become true members and true assets to the Majlis Quddam Ahmadiyya and the Khilafah. Ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected Mutama Sab, Mok Majlis Quddam Ahmadiyya Nigeria, Abdullah Hamid today. We sincerely appreciate your welcome address, and then I believe you were able to touch all that is necessary for the purpose of why we are having this session. And in that note, I would like to give my opening remark. Let me start by saying, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وكل من تبع هداه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. We thank Allah the Almighty for His immense blessings upon every one of us. We beseech His unquantifiable blessings upon the noblest of mankind, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his entire household, his followers, his household, his followers to the day of Qiyamah. Respected MKAN SADR, respected Mutamat Sahib, respected members of the Amila Mug, the respected Ilako Koidin, the respected Dila Koidin, the respected Mukamin Koidin, and all members of Majlis Quddam Ahmadiyya. Once again, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The engagement that we are having this moment, it's a it's my pleasure to welcome us once again to this session that we tag Zoom Time with SADR. The purpose of having this, in order not to overstretch it, has been mentioned by the respected Mutama Sir. And then I actually intended that we come up with a presentation of certain things. However, the purpose of coming up with such will be to actually put us up to speed on certain activities or programs within the Majlis. Equally, on the other side, I was also thinking that this session is expected to be a kind of interactive session. And then every person who has one thing or the other, a question, an idea to share, observation to raise, every person is welcome to raise whatever they would like to talk about. Of course, within the space of what is admissible in the context of Islam, the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, and the guidance of the beloved Uzur. The purpose of this is to actually say that there is possibility that we have something that we are not clear about. Is it about the Majlis Qudam or even about the Jamaat? If we have answers to such, we will definitely provide answers to them. And then I just feel that instead of coming up to say that we need to speak to certain things that speak to the activities of the Majlis, I felt probably there is no need for coming up with a slide, because inshallah Aziz, the Majlis Shura of the Majlis Qudam Ahmadiyya Nigeria for the year 2025 will inshallah be coming up in the month of October, as approved by His Holiness Adullah Aziz. The Shura will be holding between 18th and 19th of October. So I know the Mutama Sahab, I want to believe there is a recording of this session if you have not started. So because there is need for us to actually note every important activity in this session so as to come up with a communique, a minute, and probably action items that will guide us. Because the purpose of having this session is not just to call on people to say, okay, come and have a session with SADR. It is to actually listen to us. It's actually to hear from us. And to, by listening to us, it is the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Even though, and as stated in the Quran, even though we have a system of the Jamaat, and particularly for the Majlis, which is the Majlis Shura, which I mentioned that will definitely come up in the month of October, as approved by His Holiness Adullah Aziz. However, it is not out of place to also interact with all members. Let me mention that one of the things that is important, as said by His Holiness when he guided us on the responsibility of the SADR, is to actually go to all Muqamat. You can imagine if I were to go to all Muqamin in Nigeria, you know how much it will be demanding. That means maybe one day I will visit one Muqam in a day. Respected Mutama Sahab, how many Muqamat do you have in Nigeria?
We have over 290 Muqamat.
All right, very good. Jazakallah. So if we have over 200, I think 293 or so that we do report. If you have 293 Muqamat in Nigeria, that means if SADR has to visit all the Muqamat in Nigeria, that means he has to visit at least one Muqam in a day. So, and practically that is not feasible. Looking at time is not feasible. Looking at finances is not also feasible. So it's important that a session like this should come up oftentimes, and that's why we're having this. Even though I believe that we should have had it even earlier before now, but it's fine that alhamdulillah that we're still having it. So having a session like this to interact with all of us is not out of place, so that we can understand where we are doing well and probably pinpoint of areas where we need to improve, either as Majlis more as individuals. So if you are not speaking, please kindly let us mute our mic. But if not, maybe the co-host can help us mute anyone that may be interfering with the speech. So, as a result of that, I want to welcome us once again and say that inshallah is part of what we've been doing. But I beg you, can you please mute your mic? Part of what we've been doing, alhamdulillah, we actually learned that thing from the beloved Nuzul, is that every year, you know that Majlis Quran Ahmadiyya, Nigeria, as we also have it in all other majlis across the world, we will submit our report to His Holiness. And then what we have been doing the past 2 years consistently is that at the end of the year, the report that we send to His Holiness will pick out the necessary information report about the achievement of Majlis Kudam Ahmadiyya Nigeria. And this is nothing but because we have actually learned that from Uzur Akdas. Everybody, every Ahmadi who is conscious of following the instruction of Uzur Akdas and listening to his speech will see that Uzur Akdas as this. When we have the Jaza Salana UK every year, it will reel out all the achievements of the Jamaat throughout the world. And then there are a collection of achievements of the Jamaat in different offices, different starters, different departments. And then from there, we took a cue to say that it will also be important that we mention whatever the Majlis Quran Ahmadiyya Nigeria was able to achieve in every year, which I believe we should sustain, even while this Imara might have ended. So the importance of doing that is that sometimes when you do not tell people what the Kudam Ahmadiyya is doing, some of them may not know you, because we do that not to show off, but to actually serve as a form of tabligh. I have encountered an individual who is a Christian who told me that, he has seen a lot of things on social media about Majlis Kudam. Can you tell me about Majlis Kudam? I have been in different programs where I granted interview. I remember when I was Ilakoko in Lagos, I had an interview at a blood donation session for World Blood Donor Day. And I had an interview with Lagos Television, and the reporter or the interviewer was like, "Are you saying that Majlis Kudam is in Lagos?" I said, "Yes." "Are you saying that all this you have said, Majlis Kudam Ahmadiyya does or do them?" I said, "Yes." It was like, wow, I didn't know. So some of the people who are out there that are not part of us do not know what we are doing. And one of the ways through which they can know what we are doing is to make proper use of our social media platforms for the purpose of tabligh. And then, because in the view of so many people, either Muslims or non-Muslims, some of them believe that anything good cannot come from Muslims. I don't know if you have ever come across such. Somebody will be like, "Are you serious? Muslims, you guys, are you a Muslim?" They say, "Yes, I'm a Muslim." "And you are doing this, you are doing selfless service, you are doing humanity work." They will be like, "No, it cannot happen," because their belief, their orientation is that every Muslim will be a violent person, every Muslim will be somebody who will just be causing wahala everywhere. But the orientation that we have is that what they are saying is wrong, because Islam is truly a peaceful religion. And not just a peaceful religion, it actually teaches it peace, and all the tenets of Islam are embodied in peace. So as a sort of that, our good work that we do in the cause of Allah, for the service of Allah, we should not keep it in our pocket. We should showcase them in a beautiful way through the use of social media, and of course, not limited to that, with our quality attitude, quality character among our communities, in our states, and in the country, and even the world at large. Let us be a good reflection of a Muslim, as exemplified by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Without wasting much of our time, like I mentioned, this is expected to be an interactive session. And then, as a sort of that, if I have any means to answer any question, I will definitely answer. And inshallah, Aziz, I have here on the call the respected MKAN SADR, the Koidin Ilakota on the call, and the members of the Amila book are here as well. So please help us check the chat box. If you are here and you see that your friend is not here, please send the link to the person on WhatsApp chat the person on WhatsApp, call him by the side, drag him to this call. Let him be part of the history that we are here together. And then let me tell you that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what you and I may be inspired to get done through this session. So if you're on this call, probably you are hiding, and then you are seeing that your friend is not on the call, or you just chat your friend to say, "Are you on the call on Zoom time with Sadr?" And he says he's not there. Please drag the person to the call. Encourage the person to be on the call so that we can all learn, we can all listen to ourselves. So as a sort of that, once again, I want to welcome us all and say that inshallah Aziz, we shall proceed with the next item. So our target was actually to close this program by Maghrib, and I believe we can still achieve that, even though we had a 1 hour, 15-minute shortfall of the commencement time. But it's still not bad because we use our time judiciously by listening to His Holiness before we started or commenced this session. So in a way to proceed, we will go to the next session, which is interactive session. In this, we'll be listening to us, to listen to our questions or ideas, anything. So I would like the office of the Itimad, the respected Mutamasab, to take note of every important message that we are going to have from our brothers in this session, particularly at this juncture that we are now. So we listen to us, we listen to concerns, ideas, or feedback. Do you have an idea that you would have actually wanted? I would have actually loved that some of the ideas that we have should have actually come through our ilakot, our majalis for the shura consideration, as we know that that's the standard of the Jamaat. You know, for the shura, you must be able to present, propose certain things that the shura as a majlis would discuss. And then when we discuss it, we send it to His Holiness for approval, for proper guidance and implementation where it requires. So as a sort of that, we want to move to interactive session and listen to us. Do you have a concern? Do you have a question? You have an idea and observation that you want to seek a clarity on or about? Please, we would like to listen to you. So if you have a question, please kindly raise your hand, and I believe the office of the Itimad will to actually coordinate that. So respected Mutamasab, can help us look or check the list of attendees if we have anyone raising hand for anything that they want to share. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, sir. Like the Sir has mentioned, if you have any question that you want to ask, okay, I have one from Brother Oluwumi Tohir Adeyemi. So kindly introduce yourself in this manner, your name and the ilako that you come from, your ilako and your dealer. Jazakumullah. You can proceed, Brother Oluwumi Tohir.
That's expected movie. Lumisab is a Morabi.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Respected Movie Oluwumi Tohir, sir. Kindly go ahead with your questions or your contribution. Respected Movie, sir.
You can, Bobby Sab, you can unmute your mic.
Kindly unmute your mic.
Probably you are speaking and you are muted. You can check the mic to unmute. Exactly. I guess probably he's been thrown out by network because I can't see his hand again. So maybe he has a network issue. So let's wait if we have another person who may be raising hands.
Sir, I guess he can also place his question on the platform if his audio is not being activated.
Yeah, that's correct. So if you have a question you want to put and probably your network is not too good or you just don't want to speak, but we like to hear your voice. We love everybody's voice. So you can speak to us. But if you don't want to speak, as the NSC staff has suggested, you can just put it on the chat box and then we will read it out, inshallah. So I just saw that the respected Mobi Sab just joined back. So I don't know if his network is stable now. Respected Mobi Sab. If you cannot type, if you cannot speak, you can kindly type the question in the chat box.
All right, while we wait for respected Modulumi Sab, I would like to call on respected missionary Adewale. That's Delia Coid. That's Delia Coid to kindly unmute his mic and speak. Jazakumullah.
Respected Coid Sab.
Shortly, I only want the respected Salah Sab to please explain to the House probably how the Majlis reserve is being used.
Majlis what? I didn't get that.
Reserve.
The Majlis reserve that we have at the account that is at the Morcas.
Okay. Majlis Central Reserve. Oh, mashallah.
Central Reserve at Morcas.
Okay. All right, okay. Okay, so probably, so what do we suggest? Should I take the question? Maybe I take two about questions as answer, or just be taking the question as they come.
Yes. I guess due to time frame, because we have short time, you can continue with answering the question, sir, while the Mutamar take note of the question. And maybe while we're also expecting others to speak, they can also be submitting the questions on the platform so that we can manage the time.
Okay. All right, Jazakallah. So let me answer the question now asked by respected Karam Abdul Azim Saab, who is serving as the Koid Dila at SACOM. So now let me make clarity about the question. So Mutama Saab, I can see 3 people waiting in the waiting room. We can admit them. So the question respected Mukaram Saab asks is that what is the Majlis Nigeria doing with the Central Reserve, the money that we keep at the Amanat account of the Jamaat? So let me break it down. So today, by the special grace of Allah, we have account with the Amanat, which is the central account of the Jamaat in Nigeria. And by the special grace of Allah Almighty, we keep record of every account that enters the. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Sir.
All right, okay. So we have a central account where we keep money. Either we deposit it or we keep it through. There are 2 ways through which we get lodgement into that account. Is either we take the money and put it in the account, like you go to deposit. The second lodgement channel is that we have workers in the Jamaat. Among them, missionaries, among them, other workers of the Jamaat who are members of the Majlis. So the chanda of these members go to the Central Reserve. Now, what do we do with this money? What we do with this money is that, because in this session, we will be very practical and then very transparent to all of us. and I will take it. The questioner, I understand him, and I understand the question very, very well. So I think he also understands the question that he has. But probably because we know that state dealer person is a member of the Amira, and then it's also important that maybe there is need for us to give clarity to that question so that people will understand. Now, I will break it down even and take us back to history. And it is that money, it is for the Kudam Nigeria, because it's the chanda, 100% chanda of the Jamaat workers that go there. Apart from the deposit that we make, if at all we want to make deposit to say, okay, maybe Kudam has money and we want to keep it in the amanat of the Jamaat, we take it there, then we save it. But the one that is sure for lodgement is the chanda of Jamaat workers, the missionaries who are members of Kudam, and any other worker of the Jamaat who are members of Kudam. Their chanda is paid into the amanat account. Now, what will have actually made for us to ask that question is that in the past, even when I was a dealer for it, I remember that at the MOOC meeting, people will be asking questions. What are you using this money for? It's our money. Because Ilakot, they want to collect retention from that money. That is the bone of contention. And that is the thought behind that question. So I need to unveil it so that everybody will understand. Because they believe that it's the Quran money, right? But we need to know what we are doing with the money. Now, the point is that money, it is for Nigerian migrants. What we do with it is that if we have any emergency, we make do with part of the money. The money that goes to the central account are divided into two forms. One, the one that belongs to Majlis Kudam Nigeria, and the one that belongs to the Markas, which is for the Markas itself. Because in our constitution, you see that 25% of the chanda is expected to go to Markas. I remember when I was appointed as SADR, normally when we have the Shura, we will also, when you discuss about the proposal, you discuss about the report, annual report of the Majlis, we also discuss about the financial position of the Majlis in the year that you are concluding. At that time, the report was already sent to Markas by the former SADR, respected Dr. Tafik Sani Sir. So, first letter I received from Uzur Akdas was that in our letter, in our position, we said that 21% is meant for Markas. Uzur Akdas guided us that 25% is what is meant for Markas. So when I received the instruction of Uzur Akdas, we recalculated the money, and then we resent it to Uzur Akdas to say that this has been recalculated. And Uzur guided us that 25% of the chanda is expected to be kept for Markas. And this we have been keeping over the years by the special grace of Allah, transparently and consistently. Now, by the grace of Allah, every year we have end of year when we have the Shura, we are always reporting this fund to Uzur Akdas. And then we have been very consistent with that. Now, recently, at the management meeting, which I've also discussed at the MOOC level, especially for anyone who attended last MOOC meeting, I mentioned it, that we look at the value of the money. The money that we have today in the reserve, even those that are actually meant for the, okay, before I go into that, part of what we make use of that money is that for emergency. I remember when we hosted ITIMA in 2022, the ITIMA fund was not enough because of the economic situation at that time. We just left the COVID. And then some of our members who were even well to do at that time were affected by COVID. And that was it for us to actually dip our hand into the Amanat account. And then some amount was taken from the Amanat account. And then it was transparently mentioned at the Shura as part of our financial proceedings for that year. We made a withdrawal from that central account for the one that is part of us. Don't forget that I mentioned that two parts are for us, are on that account. The one that is for us, the one that is for Markas. The one that is for us, it is to make use of it any point in time we have any emergency, that is national program. I also got a report that when we had IAG in 2016, part of the fund that was used to support the program was what we had in Amanet. So this is to tell us that when we have a major program that is nationally structured, and then we needed funds to support whatever we're doing, in order not to overburden brothers, this fund may be taken from or withdrawn from as a sort of that be used to cushion the effect of any burden that we may not want to put on the shoulders of our brothers. Let's say, for instance, you want to do a national program, let's say IAG or ITIMA, and then the fund at that time was not enough. You may want to pick from the Amanat account and make use of it to cushion the effect of any challenge, financial burden that you may be facing at that time. So that is how we spend the money from the part of the one that is for us. Then on the part of Morcas, the money has grown largely. And then recently, we wrote to Morcas that Uzurak Das should give us permission to spend the money on the Kudam Secretariat. You will all remember that the structure that we made is that every year we will pick some amount, maybe 5 to 6 million naira, and attach it to the ITIMA fund of the Majlis Kudam to say that, okay, this is one part of the ITIMA fund that we are going to do for the year. Then the 5 million, 6 million naira will now be used for the secretariat. I have observed and we have analyzed at the management level and even at the book level, because we brought to the table that if we continue like this, we will not be able to complete the Kudam secretariat in many years to come. If it is about doing thorough cover every year about collection through the ITIMA fund. Because many times, ITIMA fund, you will not see all the LACOT completing the fund. And as a sort of that, if the ITIMA fund, you don't complete it, how will you now say you want to take money to do secretariat? But alhamdulillah, we have been managing it. If you have been at the Kudam secretariat in the last few years, you will see that we are doing major work in the Kudam land. And then the Kudam secretariat rather. Last year, or 2 years ago, we did the block walling. All the blocks, because at that time, our leaders, they have done the decking, they have done the joint structure. What we needed to do that time was to do block walling to ensure that all the rooms are well blocked, all the windows are well blocked. We were able to achieve that between 2022 and 2023. In 2024, when we analyzed, we saw that what is next was for us to actually do aluminium. And then we picked that one because there were so major things that we could do with the budget that we had at that time. We did the aluminium with over 6 million naira because we had to, about 7 million naira. We have done the aluminium for all the windows and all the toilet doors have been done. All the windows, inner, outer parts of the building. So we were able to make do with that. Now, the money that we have in the central reserve, which is actually meant for Morcas, what are we doing with it? Because the money, you know that Naira, keeps depreciating. What you have, the purchasing power keeps getting depreciating. And then what we mean is that 3 years ago, when we analyzed all the entire fund that we need to complete our ITIMA as at end of 2022, we realized that we will need 35 million naira to complete the Kudam secretariat. We now said, okay, let's do the block walling. When we did the block walling with the limited resources that we had, we were left with parts of the project to get it completed. Then a year after, we wanted to do another phase of the project. And what we saw was that we had to redo this estimate because what we planned to do at the beginning of 2023 was as at that time. And then things have changed, materials and many things like that. We had to redo the calculation. And when we did the calculation, it was another 50 million naira estimated. And when that 50 million naira was there, we don't forget that the previous year, the total estimate to complete was 35 million. And then we have done block walling, a major part of the project. Yet, when we did it another year after, to do the estimate again, to get it updated, it was 50 million naira. And as a result of that, we saw that the cost of materials are getting, bloated. And then we felt that the only thing that we could do was actually to do a crowdfunding. When we had the Itima in Owo, I had the intention that by the time we left Owo and we came back, I would just call us into a meeting and we would all agree, especially the MOOC officers, to say that what do we need to do to actually do crowdfunding for the Kudam Secretariat? Because doing 5 million naira every year, 4 million naira every year attached to the Itima fund will not take us anywhere anytime soon. But I can trust me, 2 weeks after we returned from Itima, that was when the respected administrator guided us that we should start doing crowdfunding for Minite University. And as a result of that, I had to say that we needed to step down our thoughts of doing crowdfunding of Kudam Secretariat, because many people will say that, okay, we are doing Minite University. It's the same people that will not contribute for Kudam Secretariat. As a result of that, we don't want to burden us. That's why we resorted to what? To the yearly plan that we have. But now, alhamdulillah, I mean that we have the Minite University taking very proper shape, very excellent shape. Maybe we may want to revisit that. But in a way, when we now look at it, now saw that there is need for us to look at the money with the broadcast at the central in the south. And then there is need for us to utilize this fund very judiciously. We wrote to His Holiness, that we want to make use of the fund that is meant for broadcast, the part that is meant for broadcast, to spend it on the Kudam Secretariat. And Uzur Abbas approved it. All these conversations were in the month of, I think, sometime June, July, when Uzur Abbas approved it. So he put a clause there that you are approved. It's approved for you to spend the money for the Kudam Secretariat. However, in that building, because we had to explain certain things in that block. So in that block, we have the MDQS office, which is approved by His Holiness, referred by His Holiness guidance and support. Then we have the family women school there. We now, Uzur Abbas now said we should tell MDQS and family women to vacate the Kudam building. When I saw that letter, I was like, wow, subhanallah. Maybe if I was before Uzur Abbas, I would have loved to explain it to him that, oh, beloved Uzur, MDQS is the Kudam initiative which you blessed for us. Fanuman is the Kudam initiative which you also blessed for us by our past leaders. So it took me weeks and I got confused. I had to discuss with the management team, and then we realized that we needed to respond to His Holiness. And then we responded that these are our initiative. And as a result of that Uzur Abbas should let them be MDQS Fanuman, and since he has approved the money to be spent on the Kudam Secretariat, that will proceed. But when I wrote that letter, till today, I have not gotten feedback. When I went to Kano in August, myself and Mutamasa, we went to Kano for visitation and to also be part of that fighting. That was when myself and him discussed about what we needed to respond with and how we were going to do it. And we responded. After we responded, the feedback was that the Wakalat al-Mal office sent a communication to SADR Kudam Nigeria that we should confirm how much is in the central account. And I confirmed that as I did last year when we submitted our report, this was the amount. As I this year, that we have had, additional money between November 1st and now. This is the amount. I sent it. But since then, I've not gotten feedback from His Holiness. So if Uzur Abbas says, okay, go ahead again, after we have told him that it will be difficult to chase out MDQS, we don't know where to chase them to. It will be difficult to chase out Fanuman, we don't know where to chase them to. If Uzur Abbas gives a guidance to say, go and spend the money, we will use the money of the meant for Marcus in the center post, and we'll now add it with the one that we have for this year and use it to do a major project on that building, Secretariat, Kudam Secretariat. And then the next one could either be electrification, the wiring and everything, or we do plumbing next. So that is what we are using the money for. All of that was apart from the one that's meant for Marcus. All of that one that's meant, the other part that's meant for Majlis Kudam Nigeria, it is still in the reserve. And then let me finalize it by saying that it should not be a thing of argument that we'll start discussing. I know a number of times, a lot of people have asked questions that, no, it's our money, let's spend it. Give our attention to us. The reason why we have agreed that we should suspend that thought is that if Lagos Elako is claiming that all the funds they have members of the Kudam who are workers of the Jamaat, that they need their retention. Osun Elako is claiming, Edo Delta Elako is claiming, Kaduna is claiming. Because all our missionaries, they spread across all states in Nigeria. And as a result of that, nobody can claim that it is only our Elako money that is in our reserve. That is why when I saw that, even when I was Dilako, when I was state coed, there used to be an argument about this matter, even with my past leaders, the respected engineer, the respected engineer, Dr. Sonny sir. I remember on the night of the election that brought my humble self to SADR, it was a heated argument at the MOOC level. A lot of members of the Lagos Elako were requesting from SADR staff that they should allow the retention to be paid from this fund. And then I was just looking like this. I was the state coordinator, I was just looking like this. SADR staff pointed at me that, state coordinator, you are not speaking. What if you are the SADR? What would you have done? I just had to speak a little that allow the guide us, because I didn't know what to say at that time. So, but what I did differently was I went for a meeting with all the LACO and the MOOC officers that this money is for all of us. Let us try to have the understanding that the workers of the Jamaat spread across all parts of the country. It is not just about an LACO. As a sort of that, we are making use of this fund for emergencies. So, which is actually meant for the Jamaat, for the Majlis. So, if at all anything at all will be revisited, then I think we may bring it up at the management level to look at it. But what we have done differently is that we have engaged all the LACO to say that the money we have there, it is for us to be spent on emergency. And then it is wise by what our past leaders have done to decide that we should keep it there. May we not see anything unfortunate that will drag us to overspend, that people will now want to, do what we need to get some money, and then we now start running etta-sketta. So that is why that money is kept. I know I've taken time to explain this, but the reason why it is important for me to express all of this is that I need to unveil whatever we do not understand. And that is one of the things that this session is to serve, so that we have the understanding. As we know that anybody can be in the position of SADR tomorrow, and then we have the understanding, why did we take that decision? Is it in the interest of the Majlis? If it is so, then we should all calm down. We should all calm down and have that understanding that our leaders, they have us at heart, and then we can only make use of the fund judiciously for the purpose of the Majlis Kudam, inshallah. So that is the answer. I believe and hope that I was able to provide answers to that single question from respected missionary Abdulazim. So, respected Mutama Sab, do we have respected Mobilomi Sab on the call now? And does he want to make his comment or question?
Yes, I have respected Mobilomi on the call. I don't know if you'd like to proceed, sir. Mobi Sab.
Respected Mobi Sab, please. Wa alaikum
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well done, sir. Sir. Allah continue to be your helper. My question is regards to the statement of the beloved Uzur, Third Khalifa. I don't know how we can incorporate that in our style in Nigeria as well, because we've been receiving some comments from our colleagues from Ghana especially. And that is with regards to the scarf of our uniform, because seeing the previous uniform and the pictures I've seen of the past, I mean, in this very country, Nigeria, I can observe that scarf with them. I don't know if I'm very sure probably it must have come to your concern, to your notice, the sayings of the third Khalifa. I don't know if it has been discussed in Shura or not, So I just want to ask about that, sir. So I'll reply to that.
Well, respected officer, thank you so much for your question. So, yes, I'm aware of the statement of His Holiness, the third Caliph, Rahimahullah. So, Jazakumullah khairan for bringing this up, respected officer. So, I will start by history as well. So that, because the purpose of having this session is actually to express a lot of things, unveil a lot of things. So, alhamdulillah, respected officer, you will not be the first person to tell me or remind me about this. I know some of our Morobian, let me mention name, Mobi Adiwale Abdurrahman. I remember the first time I was meeting him in at the Nikah of Mobi Shamsojo in Ota, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was where we had the Nikah. And let me just mention it jokingly that the first letter I received as SADR was the invitation of Nikah for Mobi Shamsojo. But it wasn't the first outing anyway. But the first invitation letter. The first outing I went for was Lagos, Ogwinlako, when they had their welfare week, blah, blah. So, but, you know, when I went to the Nikah, Mobi Abdurrahman Adewale engaged me a lot in my Magic School of activities. And then one of the things that he engaged me on is about this staff matter. So, Mobi Sab and my beloved brother. So this is what we need to understand. So there was a history about the use of scarf, right? And then when the concern grew, I also engaged the past leaders. I engaged Payo Abdul Salam. I engaged Brother Abdurrafi. I engaged Pashobo Ede. I think at the time, Pashobo Ede was Naib Sadar, if I'm not mistaken. So I engaged some of our past leaders and I asked about it. And I got to understand the history about when it actually stopped. I think the use of the scarf was actually stopped. So, you know, what actually changed it was the change in the uniform. So the change in uniform changed it. If you look at the shirt, the uniform that we use today in my school in Nigeria, it is a jacket form uniform. That is why it is more like a military uniform. If you see any person who is conscious of proper use of uniform, you see that if I don't know if anybody can see my camera, if there is difference between when you do a gator by the side like this, but if it is a jacket, you will the arm part of the jacket will slip on the body. That is how a jacket is made. So with that jacket that we use today in uniform setting, scarf may not fly. Now, in the olden days, or in the time when we were making use of the scarf, we were using shirt. We were using shirt such that we can tuck in shirt with it. For instance, if you are putting on, if you want to do a jacket to have 4 pockets, one here, and 2 below, right? But if you were to consider using shirt that will require a scarf, then you will not have pockets below. You will only have pockets up there. So, because you may want to tuck in your shirt. Now, a change in the uniform actually put a stop to it. Now, let me now mention some of the things I got as feedback from our past leaders. For example, Pashobo Edesab expressed how it went for me. And then I think the last time it was used by the Majalis was under Pashobo Edesab, under his leadership. Now, when I also got to know that past leaders, they used it. I mean, past Sadran, they only used it. Then, at that time, when the uniform had changed, the Udam members were no longer using it. But I had, in my investigation or in my effort, that Sarah Saab, Professor Timei Saab used it. He himself only used it, maybe in one program, maybe one Itima of Ansar Law or so in Badagry. But all members of Amila and other members of them were not using it at that time. I also had, in my effort to understand when it changed and what we could do, that Brother Rafi also, Brother Rafi Saab, who was SADR between 2010 and 2016, also tried to reintroduce it. But the Amina book at that time said that because we were using jacket, which I've explained, that it should stand. However, when I look at all of those things, I realized that when we wanted to, I felt that, okay, maybe we should change it. I mean, we should change our jacket to shirt. I also made efforts after I've listened to some of these leaders in the past who have served in one capacity or the other, but who had history, who had knowledge of history about the uniform and the use of scarf. And I concluded that it was at the time when we just produced new sets of magic uniform. And then I believe that it will be a very great transition if we want to move from that to the use of cap. That means the type of shirt, jacket that we use today, we will need to change it. We will need to change it, and it may require us to, at that time, you remember, I know some of us are aware that at the time we had a session, we had investment where we threw out a notification that people should invest. It was at the time I concluded that we were already making a production, a very large number of production in number of shirts I wanted to make. And the uniform that we have today, the epaulet and everything, was actually at the book level, even at the Shura, before I even became SADR. Because some people will say, the cap has changed. The ratification of what the cap looks like today for what it used to be was under the respected SADR, Dr. Sonny Saab, for anybody who can remember. So I think the change actually started under respected engineer and NASAB, and it was finalized and concluded under Dr. Sonny Saab. So all of those changes happened with the cap. So when I thought of maybe we could apply the use of scarf, but we need to change our jacket to shirt. It was already at the time when we already made a large production of the shirt, of our jacket. And then it will be difficult for us to actually say that we should make do with it. And what I'm saying now is not even up to 2 years. It's just last year that we made that production. I remember when I was landing in Nigeria from airport like this, as I left the cabin, I just came out. It was Brother Lukman that called me about the matter of the investment and everything like that. So it has not even gotten up to 2 years. And then that means many people will run out of, they will run at loss. And even without Nigeria, they will run at loss because people will not buy the uniform. And administratively, you agree with me that it will be a wrong time to do that, to change it. And then it's also important that when we are leaders, we embrace Shura. It is important that we don't take unilateral decision and say, Asadaro, I want you to reverse to using scarf. Not that we are disobeying the Khalifa. And the reason why I would say we are not disobeying the Khalifa, not Khalifa, not about lies that Uzur Abdas, the current Uzur, I had that Umar has seen us, Udam Nigeria, severally. When it came 2004, he saw us with our uniform. 2008, he saw us with our uniform. Respected NSS, Brafashina sir, are you still on the course, sir?
Very well, sir.
Okay, sir. You will recall when we met Uzur last year, may Allah be his helper, when we met Uzur after the Jasalada UK. Can you remember what Uzur said when he saw the two of us?
Citing us, he just pointed at you, Sadar Majlis Kudam Nigeria, and he also pointed at me, Naib Sadar Majlis Kudam Nigeria. And that's all.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, NSS. So, Uzur Abda said, Nigeria? We said yes. Uzur saw me in our Kudam uniform. Uzur saw the NSS in our Kudam uniform. Uzur saw us physically. The meter between myself and Uzur, it was not up to 20 meters. Now, he has seen us in 2004. He has seen us in 2008. Uzur Agnas has been to many countries. Uzur Agnas sees that UK uses scarf. He sees that Ghana uses scarf. If beloved Uzur Agnas had wanted us to change it, I strongly believe that he would have said, Nigeria, change it. So if we are using it today and he has seen it and he doesn't have any issue with it, then I will say that if we will change it in Nigeria, even though I was not part of the shura or the deliberation that changed it from SCAF to what we have today, we will need to deliberate on it. It is not a doing of SADR. It will not even be a doing of Aminamo. It will be a shura thing where everybody will listen to us, everybody will see to why we need to do it. So, and we know that I tell people that Uzura dance is the nizam of the Jamaat. We have to follow Uzura dance. So if Uzura seen us and he didn't complain, then that is why it will be difficult for me to enforce it, except we have a shura. If you have a shura and everybody discusses it, and we now table it before Uzura does, and it says change it based on whatever people have said at the shura, then it's okay. And then, of course, such has to come through shura proposal, and then it should not be a thing of a person or an authority beyond. And it's a matter of authority, it's a matter of concern beyond even the SADR, because it will not be overwhelming that I just authoritative, because Islam doesn't teach us to be so authoritative in that manner. You have to consult people. You do shura. If majority of Majlis Ahmadiyya want it, and the majority of the shura want it, Bismillah, we will put it forth to beloved Uzur, and then we can change it. But administratively, the reason why I held on, not to say we want to discuss it at any point in time, probably at the shura, and of course, if that's at shura, it should come as a proposal like I mentioned, was that at that time, I realized that we were actually making large production of uniform, and then it will definitely run at loss if we actually change at that time. So if there will be a change at all, then there will be need for us to consider having it at the shura. So, but the history, the issue of it, when it was changed, I think it was under the respected leadership of Payo Abdul Salam. So that's all I can say about the SCAF. So, do we have any other person raising hand?
We we have a series of questions in the chat box.
Fantastic.
With your permission, I have like I can see we have 3 questions in the chat box. So I don't know, should I take it one after the other, or should I run through everything?
Bismillah. Bismillah.
In interest of time, sir. All right. So the first question was from brother Alausa Jalaluddin Tobi Sab. I said, Assalamu alaikum wabarakatuh. Please, I would like to know more about forthcoming AYAG.
Okay, I'll see the question too. Thank you so much, Tamasa. So,
yes,
okay, so I will be very brief so that we manage our time. So, there is in quotes, there is nothing like next coming AYAG or forthcoming AYAG. It's not pronounced anywhere. The program that we may likely have, is a World Cup, Magic Sudan World Cup. That's what it is called for now. The name may change tomorrow. And then it was that when I became SADR, a lot of people have said, okay, let's do sports festival in Kudam, by Kudam, Nigeria. And then we said that if you want to do festival in Kudam, Nigeria, that means you may want to step down the Jackson and Itima of the Kudam, because it is capital intensive. You need to spend a lot of money. So as a result of that, I think I said financially, I'm not sure we are ready for that. Now, at the level of the Magic Kudam, Africa, we tabled it that we needed to have AYAG 2.0. And then we discussed it, and we now said that if we're going to have AYAG 2.0, it's not necessary that it is held in Nigeria, because it is Africa. So we can take it to any other country. I remember in Abuja last year, some SADR that were there, respected, but Abdurafi, former SADR, was also there. We discussed it, and we agreed that, we suggested that maybe we could take it to Kenya or Uganda or Tanzania. So particularly, former SADR was suggesting East Africa. That time, myself and some Sadran and representative of other countries were there. Now, fast forward to when we went to Kenya in April. We discussed it, and then before that time, some members of Majlis Quran Ahmadiyya UK came to Nigeria, came to Ghana. When they came to Ghana, they discussed about it that they would like to, because Ghana proposed that we should have that particular program, that kind of work up where Majlis Quran in Africa and Europe, America, they will come, to be part of it, and it will be a very good competition, but it should hold in Ghana. I also remember that last year when I visited UK, myself and Naib Sadr admin, but Apashino Sir, we discussed with Sadr Kudam UK. And then we told him that there is it for us to have that kind of Ayak 2.0 where many African countries and some European countries will also be part of us. And even America. So he now said, it is fine. But if we also suggest that we do it in Ghana. So as a result of that, Ghana also took it up, and then they suggested that they will have the work up. They have written to His Holiness, but the feedback, whether His Holiness has approved it or not, it has not gotten to me. So, but the only likelihood is that if it will hold in Ghana, and then many people, many countries, not limited to Africa, will be part of it. That is the summary of that, any sports activity that will likely happen. Let me also say that the fresh report about it is that when I was in Burkina Faso a couple of weeks ago or days ago, Sadr Ghana told me that, Sadr South Nigeria, please, let's pray that Uzuru approved this thing. So that means that as of 2 weeks ago that I was in Burkina Faso, Uzuru has not given green light about it. So nothing is clear about it yet. So if anything is clear about the World Cup or whatever we can call it, Ayak 2.0 kind of, we will communicate it accordingly. So the next question, respected Mutama Sab. Let me look.
Yes, sir. Sir. So the next question is coming from Ijebu Central Dilia. Actually, this question is, from what I can gather, is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions in a row.
Okay, I can see
so
them.
I would like to run through.
Yes, let me quickly answer. I can see.
Sir.
Thank you, Mutama Sab, so that we manage time. He said on reporting, can you share examples of best reporting practices for Mother Dilat or Mukomi that we can learn from? To be very open, I will tell you that please discuss with Dilako and Ilaro. Discuss with Ilaro. Ilaro got best Magis this year. They also got best Magis last year. Please discuss with Dilako and Ilaro. They will guide you on this. Then, what is important, but let me give you the summary of it. You also discuss with Jamia Mokom. Jamia Mokom won the best Magis Mokom this year. They also won it at Abuja last year. You can also discuss with Mutami Mokom Ojokoro. Ojokoro is also they're always very close to becoming the best. They were once the best Mokom until last year and this year that Jamia Mokom won it. Now, if you want to understand how they do it, you can learn from Dilako Ilaro and Koit Mokom Ilaro, Jamia, so that we manage time. See how they are doing that report, what has made them consistent, and what has made them to win it last year and win it this year. That will guide you. Then, but in summary, what's expected is that look at our work plan. What is the work plan of Majlis Quran to work with the Layaban? What are you expected to do in a particular month? Do it. Report to them on a monthly basis. Then your MDU that's been calculated by the ETMAD on our report portal will help you to have very good score. That's one of the ways to win best matches. So you can discuss further with Dilako Ilaro and Koet Jamia. So Koet Sabato says on Zerat, with most organizations, circuit and everybody within the Jamaat now going. Now that so sorry, please. I want to read that. So once I answer this question, please you permit me so that we can go for Salatu Maghrib, then we'll come back to this session. So permit me to answer the second question, respect Mutamaza and other brothers. We'll go for Maghrib, then we'll come back. Don't leave the session. Just 10-15 minutes, we are done with Salah and we'll come back. But let me answer the second question so that we can go for Salat so that we can have more time to attend to ourselves. Then the second question is that Ziraat organization circuit within the Jamaat now going up, especially crop production. Are there plans for the Majlis to do such? Yes, there is a plan, and the plan is that we have said that anybody that is interested to be part of it. Today, there was a session that we shared. I told the Mutamasa to share. I joined the session today. The question is that when it was sent to us, members of Kudan, how many of us took part of it? There were different lectures on snail, different lecture on normal small farming. There were also some about a lot of things about agric. You know, even the crop production and the rest like that. The question is that when it comes to things like that, if not that you want to distribute money, you will not see member of Kudan joining. Actually, you will see. I went through the list of people that joined that session. I could count a little number of members of Kudan that joined. So, is it that members are waiting for Kudan Nigeria to say, oh yeah, I want to do agree? No, we have said that Ilako can do it. Gilead can do it. Within your space, you can do the investment. You can invest in agriculture. It's not necessary that everything is done at the center, especially when it comes to agri. You have the liberty to also invest in agriculture in your own dealer. All of you should come together and think what you want to do. Remember that when we did the workshop this year and last year, we practically included it in our program for workshop. So we are at liberty to do any agricultural investment at our local majalis. So that is the plan. So it's already in pipeline. So we will go for Salat now, then we'll come back. By 7:15, inshallah, we'll reconvene. Please don't leave the session. We'll come back by 7:15 after Salatul Maghrib. Jazakumullah khairan. Please, respected Mutamasab, you can drop that comment on the chat box that we are going to come back by 7:15. So from there, we'll take up further. And hopefully, before Salatul Isha, we shall conclude. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inspector Mutama sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inspector SADR.
Okay. All right. Okay, but that's mine. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So I can see some people are trying to join. I'll just give them grace of 2 more minutes, then we'll start again. Inshallah. So, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we will continue now. I would like to. So I would like to continue for where we stopped it the other time. So which has to do with agriculture, what is Kudam doing? So let me mention that in the past, we have had investment at the level of Majlis Kudam national. And then, sincerely speaking, I feel that there is a for to decentralize some of these things. So, whereby not when somebody has graduated, they will now be disturbing that person. Let me give you an instance. Today, the land of Majlis Kudam in Ibishi was purchased when some of our past leaders were there. And then it was through the contribution of maybe some members of Kudam at that time, majorly in Lagos. And then, do you know that today we could not trace where the land is located because some individuals allegedly have sold the part of the land that belongs to Majlis Kudam. It was a very serious matter, even when Dr. Sonny Saab was the SADR, that he had to go there and say, where is our land? The place they showed him was not where primarily was our land. So I am of the opinion that if anybody wants to do any business, go and do your business personally. There is nowhere in that assassin of Majlis Kudam where they say Majlis Kudam as a body should do business. I like to do business. I want to engage in business. But let it be business that is directly done by Majlis Kudam Nigeria and it is profiting Majlis Kudam Nigeria. For instance, now, we have in the past suggested that probably we could have a car wash at Banjo Oyewole Street, where we have the Kudam Secretariat. But at the time, we realized that when we did that feasibility study, we realized that there is nowhere you can have the water to flow to because that place is a residential area. I'm aware that other auxiliary bodies are engaging in business, like large doing rentage, doing bread, and so many other things like that. It is fine, but we have also looked at what can we do. But in a way to actually liberate some members of Kudam from any of those that may be facing financial challenges or whatever, is so that when there are opportunities, intellectual opportunities to partake, you will not see members of Kudam partaking in it. Look at this now. This is Zoom time with SADR. Can you imagine that we have not had more than 60 participants in this call? Is that the number of members of Kudam in Nigeria? The same thing happens to whenever we are discussing anything intellectual, whether it is Talib, you will not see us there. If it is about investment, learning things, like I mentioned today that they taught us about agriculture, hardly I could count 25 members of Kudam, at least people that I knew. I could hardly count 25 out of about 80 participants at that time. So the point is that if you are waiting for Kudam to do investment, the point is that the opportunities around you, how well have you tapped into it? So that's all I can say about investment. So the today's session that was organized by Sanogo Tijara department and the last department was enough for anybody that is conscious to be part of. And then when all these opportunities come, we don't delay them, we share them. When there is a training, investment, or whatever it is, empowerment, when they come, we share it on MKAN Hot Jobs. There is a platform, we have MKAN Hot Jobs. We have set this up over 3 years ago, so that we will be sharing opportunities, job opportunities, scholarship on it. If your colleague Ilako is not sending it to your Ilako, he is responsible, he is accountable, hold him responsible. There is no week that we will not send out anything at all from that group. So it could be a training, it could be internship. All those things are there. It's not only agriculture that can make you wealthy. Many other opportunities are there that we have created a room through which you communicate to our brothers. Then it is expected for all the Koidi Ilakot to ensure that on the WhatsApp group of the Ilakot, they spread it there. So that's all I can say about investments. If you want to invest in agriculture, tap into what was discussed today as Sanogo Tijara, because for today, that may not be the focus of Magic Kudam. Other areas, we are also looking at other areas where we can improve and empower members of Kudam, inshallah. So let me go to the next question. More security. More security. The question is directed to the Umumi department. Is there a guideline for providing more security, especially during Juma service? Must everyone wear uniform, or is Mufti allowed? Should this also be reported, or since the Mufti, we shouldn't bother sending the report? Yes, let me answer this straight up. The more security is very important. And the Umumi department has reiterated that, they have communicated that severally. The mosque security is important, not just only during Juma service. Not only just during Juma service. It's expected that we do the security while there is Jumat, while there is Nikah in our mosque. There is anything that we are doing, Siratul Nabi, Masim out, any program. So the Umumi of that Mukom should be responsible to take up that responsibility. It's the responsibility because the Koid is representing the SADR. And of course, by obligation, the Umumi of that Mukom or Dilia or Ilako, as the case may be, is responsible to take up that responsibility. Let me give you an instance. I received a letter from the AMSWA, the Ahmadi ladies, that they want to have their IC in Ogun State. When I got the letter, I didn't send it to another person other than the state Koid Ogun State. So Koid Ogun State understands the job. He knows what to do. He knows that if we engage the Umumi, if we engage the Koidin involved, and then they will assist on security for that matter. And then when I had a discussion with him, he said, Sir, this thing is not only limited to just one day or thereabouts, that the place they want to use, they will need that security 24/7. And then the arrangement will be done by him. So when we are having a program like that, or even if it's AMSA, let there be among us people who are designated to do security. And then, should they be in uniform? Yes, they should be in uniform. They should be in white uniform, white and black uniform, and then they should stand gallantly. Gallantly. You don't stand like Okpetinomu, Waduro Dada, and then you are watchful. You are looking everywhere. Somebody may go to Ruku or go to Sajida, and somebody is trying to pick something from his pocket. It's not that you just stand like that. You stand gidiga, like nothing should shake you. Then when you stand like that, you are watching everywhere. And then if we have people who are sacrificing, more people that are gonna, don't say because your if your place of work is far, but you still have, you observe your salat in that place, bring your Kudam uniform, wear it. When you are done, put on your clothes back again and go back to work. It is service. Khidma is what Kudam is known for. And then we should do it diligently and with joy. So you have to put on your uniform, and then you have to stand in strategic places. So the expectation is that you stand in the strategic location of entrance, and then you watch people. Some people may not come with a particular pair of shoe, and they go with that same pair of shoe. So All our Qurans in Nigeria, they are intelligent, they are smart. So, and I also expect that when we are doing that, we are also showing that intelligence and that smartness. Just ensure that people don't take what's not for them, and then that you are also security conscious. Then, what I've also told the Umumi to say is that people should sacrifice more and be ready to support. And then nobody, no Quran should stand in at any program more than 30 minutes. What I mean is that if, for instance, we are doing Jumat, it's not out of place, so even including Jumat, or we are in a function like Jasa Salano, Itima, anything, no Khadim should stand more than 30 minutes. If you want to stand in a particular position, if you are a Koid or you are a Umumi, when you want to designate an individual to a particular place, make sure that you have somebody to stand there to take over in the next 20 or 30 minutes. You should not stand more than 30 minutes. 20 minutes is okay. Take it, let another person take it. 20 minutes is okay, let another person take it. Don't say I'm strong, I am this and that. There is nothing like I'm strong. We are sometimes early this year, a Khadim fell down in Ojokoro behind Amisa. Amisa was having the Jumat. He was in Jumat. And a Khadim, he fell down. So don't say I'm strong. We don't want that. So those are the things that I want to say. So when we have more people who are part of it, when we have more people who submit themselves, who are ready to do sacrifice or security work at the Jumat, at our Nikah, at any other program we do, you will have a number of people in those strategic places, and they don't just stand, but they are very vigilant, and they should be in their uniform. Then you should report it as well. It's part of what you should report. Then career. What advice do you have for young leaders balancing their match responsibility with academic or professional demands? The advice is that there is no person, whether you want to, everybody should be responsible in the magic school. Either you are a student or you are a working class, be responsible. And then I've seen so many people who say the reason why I'm not partaking in AMSA program is because I don't want to have second class or pass or have any poor results. Wallahi, it's because you are a dullard already. And to sọ pé òun join kudam activities and activities pé òun ló fi fail the school. Orí ẹni yẹn kan lè kú tẹ́lẹ̀ kò kan lè mọ̀wé ni. Wallahi. You don't even sabi book already. Now why you fail? Because tested, trusted. I am a tested, trusted. That commitment to the Jamaat work will never make you fail. Wallahi, it will even make you excel more. I swear to Allah the Almighty that it will even make you excel more. All you just need to do is to balance it. Isan Ahmad is a good example. Isan Ahmad, some of us will know him. He just went to Jos, Plateau State, 2 days ago, thereabout, for his NYC. Isan Ahmad served, at least I know him when I was State Coed Lagos, and I know some of the things that he still did, even after I've left Lagos Ilako as Coed. Isan Ahmad was the AMSA president Unilag at the time. He was AMSA president Lagos State, and he finished with first class from Unilag. He was an active AMSA member, and he also graduated from HGQS last week. So he graduated with first class. Some of you that you don't want to participate in Jamaat activities, you'll be saying I don't want to fail, because you know even sabi book already. Now why you don't want to? So, but the point is that if you do it, Allah SWT will help you. That is certain. The promise of Allah will never fail. Inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. The people who are righteous, who are good doers, Allah will not deny them of their reward. And the promise of Allah in the Quran is that alladhina jahadu finna lanahdiyannahum subulana. Whoever, or those people who serve in our cause, those people who strive in our cause, Allah Himself will be the one to pave way for them. So if you are a Khadim or you are a member of this Jamaat and you are saying it's because of my work, it's because of my, all you just need to do is to balance it. You don't say because of my work, because of my academic, that's why I'm not partaking. Dr. Tawfiq Sani Sabas told us one day like that, when he was an undergraduate student, that he was there like this as an undergraduate student. And then the Koid at that time, Koid Mukom, told him to say, Tawfiq, stand here. He was an undergraduate medical student to stand there. And he had he had the test that afternoon. He said, while he was standing there like this, on duty as a Khadim, his colleagues, because they did that program in Agowo in his school, OOU, colleagues were passing by that saying, Tawfiq, They did not understand why he was standing. And then he could not also complain to this Koisab that Koisab, I have to still one more. He took the pain of obeying the authority and he stood there and then he said he still passed the test. So if you are dutiful in the cause of Allah, it will never be a reason why you fail. So if for instance now, what you need to do is you do it in the afternoon, you do it in the morning. Maybe all Koid is requesting from you or Sada is requesting from you is to do XYZ in your activity. Maybe we have 24 hours in a day. How can you devote your time to say for Jamaat work 2 hours in a day? For Jamaat work 1 hour in a day. Sometimes what we need to do, we don't need to spend the entire week, entire month for the Jamaat work. All you need to do is to dedicate few minutes in a day, and then gradually you will get it done. Let me give you an instance. When I was secretary man for Okerala when I was in Nigeria, by the time when I got to office, I would do the financial collation of everything. Missionary Abdulaziz Adago was the secretary at that time. I will send the schedule to him. I will follow up with people, pay your channel, this and that. Before 8 a.m., I would have gotten to office after 7 to 8. I would have called people, I would have done my Excel analysis. When it is 8, I start doing my job. When I finish, anything I could do in the evening, I also do it. If I'm still around in office, I will take time to do personal work after I finish my official work. So, how do you manage your time? Is to say that, okay, 1 hour for the Jamaat work today, 1 hour tomorrow. You will see that all those tasks, you just break it down and you are done with it. But people who are lazy, they will find excuse to say it's because of Jamaat, that's why it's failing. It's because of that, that's why I could not meet up. If you are doing a work that does not allow you to show face or showcase to show your face in the Jamaat activities every time, let your Koid know and be sincere to Allah, because you are not serving Koid, you are not serving Sarah, you are not serving Amir, you are not serving Uzur, you are serving Allah through the work of the Jamaat. And as a result of that, be sincere and say that, okay, if I am free, I will be there. But if you are not free, maybe because of your job, we will not say because of that you should not work, then you should be hungry, then they should take away your job. No, we are not saying that. But the point is that if you are ready to serve Allah, Allah will always pay for you. There are many things I can cite under this, but I will only say that just divide your time very well and dedicate few minutes or some hours on a daily basis to do the Jamaat work. The last question from Koisa was, how can Majid Sudan members better prepare for the evolving role of AI, technology, and digital outreach in the Jamaat work? Well, this one, how they should prepare themselves is that AI is the reality, and then it keeps evolving. So how you can make use of the use of technology and AI is that when I saw on the Oyo Elako page yesterday, Oyo Elako group, but Abdulrashid Animashan was teaching people how to make use of AI to do proper dissemination of communication. For instance, you want to call for Sarah to Nabi meeting. How you will use AI, maybe ChatGPT or any other one to refine, you will just put it there. All these things, all we need to do, I will say to us that all Koidin, even though not all of them have joined this session, and it is sad, but we will do, all of us we are writing history. All of us are writing history, so I will not dwell much on that. So all Koidin should look inward and get somebody who is IT savvy and knows how to make use of AI and guide people on how to use the technology tools for the Jamaat work. Another thing is that if you have knowledge, you have technology knowledge, you have programming knowledge, software development, submit yourself to the IT team in the Tajni department, in the SHA team, and be part of the success history that Udam is making. MDQS has developed a reporting system for the Jamaat today, and we will start to be used very soon. The MDQS has also developed Wakfu Portal. The MDQS is gathering, gaining that exposure and resolving a lot of solutions within the Jamaat. Those are the things through which, if you have the knowledge, you can contribute. And if you want to learn, get somebody within your team, within your Jamaat, local MKAN, who can train people how to use ChatGPT or AI for doing Jamaat work. For instance, let me give you an instance. At the Shura that was held in May, when Alhaji Rumi had slight, there was a need for him to take a rest. So I respected Amisa advised that I should take the minutes. I took the minutes for the first time. I never took minutes of Shura. Of course, I've been a general secretary of my local Jama before I became SADR. But I know, of course, I know how to write report. But that time, I never wrote Shura report. So I wrote everything, all the activities. You know what I did? Because I also had a lot of things on my table. I used ChatGPT to scan all I've written and type it out in text. And then, same day when the Shura finished, like this, I have sent it to Alaji Romini and also sent to Baramate Kosab. Those of them, the two of them needed it for the report to Marcus. I used AI after I used my brain and biro and pen to put it down. That is how to smartly use it. So if you have an IT person in your dealer, in your Mukom, tap on them and let them train you. That's all I can say for now. And make use of our portals, like the Tegin portal, the report portal, Mal portal, exam portal. Those are the ways which you can acclimatize yourself, familiarize yourself with the use of technology. So from Missionary Abdul Salam Adejimi said, I want to request SADR to explain the criteria to attend the Majlis Shura and its eligibility. Is the candidate being chosen on the dealer level or dealer COID? COID. Please clarify. Any clarification? Yeah, this is fine. The people who are expected to join the Shura is very clear in the Dasul Assassinate is the constitution of the Majlis Kuda. So, respected Mutamasa, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Please, on this, you will need to roll out.
I can hear you, sir.
You need to roll out the people who are expected to be part of the Majlis Shura. So, just roll it out as we are preparing for Majlis Shura. There is a communication already. Respected Mr. Who has the question? Mr. Adidi Sab. There is already a communication about that, but the Timad will roll it out again. People who are expected to be part of the Majlis Shura are the members of the Amila of the Majlis, and then the Koidin, the Lat, Ilakot. Then automatically, the Koidin, Ilakot, they are to send, if for instance now, if you have 20 people who pay Chanda in a Mukom, automatically their Koid Mukom will represent. In that dealer, automatically dealer coins will represent. If there are more than 20, between 21 and 40, you will do an election to appoint someone else to join the coid. What I'm saying in essence is that, let's say in our Majlis, we have Mukom, I'm talking about this time around. You have 35 people. For every 20 person, a coid will represent. Coid will be the one to automatically, Coid Mukom will come. Dealer Coid will also come automatically. But for Mukom, automatically, Coid Mukom will represent. But if Coid Mukom will not represent, if we have 20 people, Coid Mukom will represent. But if there are 35, first 20, Coid Mukom. Then the second one will be 21 to 35, Abi. Then you now do a voting, an election to appoint somebody to join the Coid. Who will now represent the second part of the 20 people. So that is what is obtainable. So, and that list must have been sent. We are already done with the list of Shura delegates. I can confirm. So that's the way. But to break it further and to even more make it more explicit, the respected Mutamasa would also communicate that to us, inshallah. The next question is from Brother Gungbe Sanidwanullah. He said, I'm sorry, I will have to leave. Oh, okay, he said for mosque. Okay, I'm trying to look at it. Mutamasa, I hope I'm... Okay, there is a question from Brother Jimo Ibrahim. He said, I would like to humbly suggest that we consider reaching out to Majlis members who are athletic technician officials, particularly during ITIMA. This would be a great opportunity to leverage their expertise. Jimo Ibrahim from Ogunlako. Is Missionary Abdul Kabir on the call, sir? Especially Missionary Abdul Kabir, Mutamin Sanat Sadi this man. He's not on the call. Okay. So Mutamasa. Why sir? Missionary sir, share one minute.
Then sir, I don't get the question, sir.
All right. The question is that he said they would like to suggest that we should reach out to Majlis members who are athletics technicians, officials, to be made use of during the ITIMA. That is, when we want to do ITIMA, that we should call on Amadis who are professionals to be part of the to officiate our ITIMA program. That's what they are suggesting. So please kindly take note of that, sir.
All right, sir. No, that has been in practice, though, but we still work on it, inshallah.
All right. So I know that that's true, because the people who have been officiating for us, they are people who are well involved in sporting activities. But of course, time passes, and then we can probably new blood can also come in to assist us. But that suggestion is taken already. Thank you very much, respected Naim Sadar. Naim Sadar admin is putting the messages for me, the question for me on WhatsApp. So I will just do that from WhatsApp. So Mutamasa, thank you as well. So I've answered the one for Jim Ibrahim, and then we have taken note because it serves as a suggestion. So the next question is that, which is the fifth question, and I think that is coming from Brabulu Atife, that's Dila Kwedekwe. Said on ITIMA budget, in case of an inactive part of the ITIMA budget share for a particular majlis year, and the MOO takes a step to remove the balance from their monthly chanda retention, which is not out of place. But we got to know that every month some members pay their fund chanda while paying their chanda. Then my question is, how the MOO use this money? So the point is that, as of today, okay, you now said, why does this money not add to each state next year's ITIMA budget? Okay, so the point is that whatever amount that is paid by members, right, before Mutamim Mal would make a deduction on the chanda, on the retention, he will have calculated, he will have checked people who had paid through the portal, and then they have selected, they have paid for the ITIMA fund. So he will only take the retention for where there is outstanding, for the exact amount that is outstanding for. So, respected Mutamin Man, sir, Brother Bibla, are you there?
Sir.
Why something like too? So if there is any ambiguity in what I said, you can clarify. Saying that what will be deducted as the outstanding for the ITIMA will be what is outstanding. What will be taken from retention will be what is outstanding as at that time when the retention is being paid. So if there is anything that is now outstanding, if there is anything, maybe there is any observation from any of our majalis, particularly Ilako, right, you can raise it so that the Mutamim Mal can reconcile. So that is to answer that. So, but we usually look at how much that is outstanding before the deduction is made from the retention. So, and oftentimes, when there is a payment, because Koisa mentioned that, why is the fund not added to the following year? The point is that oftentimes, before the year ends, we always overlook or leave the rest to us to say, okay, let it go like that. We'll just do we'll all overlook the remaining balance and say maybe Majalis will take it like that. But if, and which now means that by the new calendar year, say from November, we will come up with another ITIMA fund, and then we share the budget among ourselves. So you see that there is nothing like anything spilling over. So whatever you are not paying between November until another October is what is categorized for that particular year. And oftentimes, most Ilakos do not pay their ITIMA for 100%. That we will later need to just overlook some part of it. So, but we don't encourage us because some other Ilakos pay 100%, and we have always said that if you have Ilakos that pay 100%, some of us who don't pay 100%, we are not helping the matter because some of people say, they have population there. We distribute the fund based on the number of the people and not just anything like that. So may Allah assist us. That's the question. So the last question I have here before me is the sixth question. Assalamu alaikum, respect as an addendum to the criteria of Shura. What is the status of observer? in the Majlis Shura in comparison with that of the Jamaat? Well, in the Shura of Majlis Sudan, Nigeria, if I look at Dasul Asasi, the constitution, there is no provision for observers. NSSR, please, can you confirm what I said? Mutamasa, can you confirm what I said? Based on the constitution, we are all concerned of the constitution. There is no provision for observers in the Majlis Shura, in the constitution of Majlis Sudan for the Majlis Shura. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You remember that?
So,
I recall that this question was asked last year, and I responded that the constitution was silent about it. So hence,
yeah. So so Jazakallah khair, so we are being guided by Uzur Agdas, and we are being guided by the constitution. And that's why most often when you see any change in the constitution as done by Uzur, if Uzur Agdas says modify this, modify that, modify this section, change this number to Kinikon, we will change them based on the instruction of His Holiness. So if His Holiness wants us to start having observers at the Shura, we will start having it. But today, there is no provision for observers at the Majlis Shura. But if there is anything anywhere that anybody wants to share, please let me know so that we can be well guided. So I think those are the questions that I can see on the chat box, which respected NSSR has also shared with me. So, and I observed that Brother Abdulhamid Saab, who was raising hand, has already put his question on the chat box. I can see Mobi Yusuf Abdul Saab raising hand. Please, Mobi Saab, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum to the Catholic. Thank you
Wa
so much
alaikum
for the opportunity. Just two things from my part. The aspect of the scarf, Majlis Kudam scarf that was raised by respected Mobi Yusuf the other time. I think if it is possible, we can look into the matter again. The way I know it, I'm not I can't say I'm very accurate on that, but I think it's not actually indicated to be part of uniform, in the sense that we see other countries, when they even use it, they use it because most of other countries, especially in Europe and America and the likes, do not actually have a definite uniform like we have it. So it is symbolic as a representation of Majlis Kudam whenever they use it on other type of clothing. Only that because they have a particular unique type of clothing that always rhyme. Maybe they put on suit, they put on shirt, this and that, but it's not that it's on a particular dedicated uniform, just like ours. Therefore, on this idea, if it is not, if it can be confirmed that it is not imperative to be on our Khudam uniform, then I think we can still, if possible, we can still consider initiating it for members of the Majlis without it being part of the main uniform we put on, which means whenever we have any other Majlis activity and we are attending as a Majlis without the necessity of putting on uniform, maybe a visitation or any other thing, then the scarf can still be a symbol that represents the Majlis. By that, will be in line with the directive that comes with the scarf usage without violating the rule of uniform itself. The second thing I want to make a request over is in line with a particular observation that is made recently. I observed during the period of Jasa Germany, a particular comment was made that one of the vision which we have in setting up the marquee, using a detachable marquee and setting it up again, is to give a kind of orientation to members of the Majlis upon building or upon construction at the time of need, which means should anything unfortunate happen to the world, members of the Majlis are well equipped. They have the expertise in setting up things that will be a tent or that will be a form of housing for people at that point in time. So even at the moment of disaster relief, should we actually get there, to help people, we'll already have an idea of how to set up things. That didn't bring this idea initially until very recent, when someone was watching one of our clips, the ones we had during the last this year Iktima, and observed the setting of certain competitions, most especially the academic competition. He cited the example of the Quran competition, and the table and the setting itself doesn't actually look accurate or as best as we could, we would have wished to have it. So when it was pushed to me, I made the comment that, well, it's actually a situation matter, because we've actually had a better settings than this before, but probably because we always have a need to spend on those items, or we always have a need to acquire those items newly at each and every program we are having. So by that, the idea of the statement in Justice Salana Germany came on my mind, that why not, if possible, that we are able to actually acquire things that are detachable and they belong to Majlis permanently, which members of the Majlis know how to set up wherever we are taking our Iktima. Either we have it in Oyo State or we have it in Kano State, wherever. We know these are the items that are meant for these particular types of programs. We get there and we set them up, so they become permanent property of the Majlis, and the setting always remain unique and direct, instead of having a need to spend on getting those materials each and every year, or having to settle down with something that is not up to standard, as we may observe in this year's Iktima. So it just came on my mind, and I would like to raise it to Sadr Saib to give a consideration on it if it is possible. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
All right, Jazakallah khairan and respected Movistar, and thank you so much for your contributions. And then the first on the scarf, I have a very good understanding of what you are saying. And then I think the major highlight is the symbol of what the scarf represents, which His Holiness the Khalifatul Masih Tharis Rahimahullah has guided us on. So, and I understand it that perfectly. So I think the major highlight there is that probably we can be using it with other uniforms or any other wears of Majlis Kudama. I think that's good. So, like we mentioned that if we were to start using that, we need to change the jacket, and sincerely, it could be costly. But on the other side, if we would need to start using the scarf, probably with other things. For instance, now if somebody is putting on any other wear, and then you want to put on the scarf, it's fine. As Mobsab had mentioned that in some other countries where they don't have a specific uniform as we have in Nigeria, some of them may even be on polo shirts. Some of them will be on suits, and they would just put on the scarf. It's nothing but because of the symbol that it represents. So I think that can be discussed. Like I mentioned, we can actually discuss it with members of the Shura. Maybe we can make it as part of what we discuss, and then we can also finalize it with the guidance of Uzur Akdas. Probably the other thing is, when we are putting it down, we would express it very clearly that this is the concern that's being raised, and then Uzur Akdas should guide us. One thing that's very clear is that it is in our own thinking that we are all discussing this. So the only thing we have mentioned is that Uzur Akdas, having seen us, I believe, like I mentioned, that if you wanted us to change the uniform, it would have said. But specifically on the uniform and with the style of using it, probably with any other way, so we'll also highlight that, and then we can put it forth to beloved Uzur for guidance. Even if it's not discussed at the Shura, there is a way we can always write Uzur Akdas and seek guidance. And I can promise you that inshallah this will do that. Either we discuss at Shura, finalize it, or we will write separately to Uzur Akdas on this. So whatever it guides us on, inshallah this will implement. But I believe that it's a growing concern. So, but we'll give it a very quality thought, inshallah. So, on the second concern, sincerely speaking, you are very correct, respected officer. Uzur Agdas has told us, even not only the Itima in the Jasa in Germany, in so many parts of his sermons, he has told us to raise the standard. And that's what respected Amin Saab also mentioned when he came back from UK, when we were together at the Majis Saula Itima in Akure. He mentioned and he reiterated the guidance and directive of Uzur Agdas that he said we should improve or raise the standard of everything that we do in the Jamaat. And then Amisa was saying that raise the standard, Uzu said, raise the standard of worship, raise the standard of how you do things. If you are an appointee of the Koid in your Mukom or Dila or Sadar at the Muk or your Ilako, do it diligently. If you have been doing it your bokeli, you are not giving attention, start giving proper attention. I always say that many a times when we look at some of us, that we don't give our full attention to the responsibility. Probably because we think that we are volunteers. But one thing is that because it is a service of Allah, if you fail to do it, somebody else will do it, and even better. So that's why it is important that you ensure that you do it diligently, in as much as you are doing all those things to earn the pleasure of Allah the Almighty. So I will advise that we raise the standard. So for anybody that wants to host Itima, that's the message for us. It's important that we give quality to everything that we are doing, any competition at all. That's why sometimes it's difficult to host Itima in some places where they don't give us quality. Because when we do scrutiny of the water, the bedding, the venue, and things like that, road network to the place, you will see that they may not be able to host Itima, because that is also requires that when you want to do the Itima like that, you do it wherever people are comfortable. So, respected Mutamin Ta'alim, Brother Blafisa.
I'm with you, sir.
Why something like? Thank you very much. I believe you listened to the question of Mobisab, right?
Yeah. So when I rejoined, so I heard the question just partially, not fully. Okay. So it was from your response that I was trying to understand the question.
All right. Okay. So now, the point is that he's talking about raising our standard generally. Then when we are holding any program, we do it diligently. For instance, if you want to do Quran competition, don't say because Quran competition is just one part of the Itima that you need to raise standard for. You need to raise standard for everything. For instance, you are doing Kudami Itima, you are doing speech contest. The table people will be sitting, they will be using maybe where they will be sitting, where the Ufas or people who are reciting Quran will be sitting. They must be comfortable, and it has to be quality. Not that you are going to go and rent something, but we should ensure that by the time we are doing scrutiny for Itima, you ask questions. If you have a stakeholder that say, okay, you said you are the one to host Itima, what are the things that you have? So we need to check that quality, the comfortability and everything. So Mobisab has also mentioned that probably we should have some items that are detachable. Yes, we have some of them today, as of today. And then when it is time for Itima, we always convey them to the Itima ground. But we will not be able to buy everything. We may not be able to buy everything. But the point is that we have some items already for Majlis Quran Ramadan Nigeria that are detachable and that they are movable during the Itima period. So, and we have been doing that. But for tables to use for, what's it called, for competition like that may not be necessary. And to say you want to move a table, because we want to believe that when you are hosting Itima in any lako, you should be able to get quality table. So maybe what we just need to do now is to say, you put our eyes there to say that what are you doing there? And like I've mentioned, this is not only about Talim, it's about raising the standard of our activities all across. So it is important that the message Mobsab had passed to us is actually the instruction of the Uzur Agdas, whereby Uzur Agdas had advised us that we should raise the standard. So once again, so this is a call for all of us who are officers, the Mutamin across board, and all our coordinates, even if it's not only MOOC. This matter is not only for MOOC. Even if we are organizing program locally in our dealer, in our LACO, in our commands, we should take note of that by ensuring that we raise standard of all activities. So another question that was raised here is that actually the constitution says that SADR is the only one who has the power to send the invite to any person as observer. Okay, okay, okay. I think that's coming from respected NSSR. So NSSR said he doesn't know what's coming with audio. Maybe he was having audio issue at that time. So what he said is that actually what the constitution says is that SADR is the only one who has the power to send an invitation to any person as an observer in the shura, but it must be with the final approval of the respected administrator. So this is as long as the respected administrator also gives approval. So what NSSR has told us is that what constitution says is that if anybody will be an observer at the shura, it will be SADR that will invite that person, and administrator would also concur. So Jazakumullah khairan, respected NSSR for that insight. We sincerely appreciate. So I think that's answered that question. I hope the respected brother who asked the question, I can't remember who, maybe he's still on the call to actually grab that response. So I'm not seeing anyone raising hand anymore. So, and I've not seen any new questions as well. Let me see that finally before we call it a day. So there is no further question. So respected Dilako Ekwe has said that the scarf, he said on this matter of scarf, it will be better if we discuss as Shura, as you rightly said. Okay, thank you so much, respected Koisa, for your comments. So one of us, okay, it was Koit Dilako Kwara that asked that question about observer. So that's that. We can also all read constitution to be guided about that. So as the NSSAB has actually notified us, so the constitution is there as our Quran. It's not the Quran, though. It's not the Quran. So people will say say it's your Bible, but since we are Muslims, it's our Quran, just your guide to doing whatever is expected of you. So inshallah, let's make do with the constitution. Let's make it our friend, and then we can be well guided about everything that's expected of us as members of Majlis Kudam. So I think all questions have been answered, and no hand is being raised. And I think at this juncture, it's a job to have AOB, which is the next. But I can say that the part of question and answer has ended. So now we are on AOB. Please, let's be mindful of what we say at AOB. So, because the major highlight of this session is actually the entire session where people will be asking questions. So, if you want to contribute at AOB, don't waste time so that we can go for Salatul Isha and manage our time so well. So, anybody that has any comments, anything, but don't spend more than 30 seconds. Okay, Bismillah. What's up?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Why is that? Respect the sir.
My comment briefly, sir. Is under the question I raised concerning the ITIMA budget. What I mean is that, like Lagos Elako, for example, let me use that example. The MOCO fully remove the debits we are owing, I think as of July, or if I remember February. So, and I mean, like this month now, or from August, this month, see, by the time we see another ITIMA budget year. So there's some payment who came in from individual across all the majalis.
Okay.
So that is the money I'm talking about. That is the money will be added to the next year ITIMA, since we are fully paid for this current year ITIMA budget.
Okay, Koisa. So this is the clarity. Okay, Jazakallah khair, respected Koisa. So this, I remember at the MOOC meeting, a similar question was asked. So let me now break it down so that we wrap it up. Is that I've said that whatever that is deducted from the MOOC, we have the record of it. The record of retention that is being paid on a monthly basis, we have the record of it. So respected Mutamad Sam, is expected to confirm the outstanding as at the time the retention is to be paid. For instance, this is the month of September. We want to pay retention for August. And then as a last month, Lagos Elako was owing 20,000 naira, for example. So when it is time to pay retention, Lagos retention is 50,000 naira. We will deduct the 20,000 naira of Intima that are standing and pay Lagos 30,000 naira that is remaining. Let's now say that the retention of the retention is still 50,000 naira, but why during the month some members have paid 5,000 naira. What the Mutami man will deduct is 15,000 naira, because that 5,000 naira that was paid by a number of people in Lagos Elako is part of the ITIMA. So I now added that if there is anything at all that we have observed, maybe a mismatch, whatever we can call it, in terms of balancing our fund in ITIMA, maybe at the Elako level, maybe some people have paid and then they still deducted our money. Please raise it, and then Mutami man will do the necessary reconciliation and pay. I'll be very glad if there is anyone that has that concern. Please raise it as soon as possible, so that before this year ends, before when it is first or second week of October, we'll be wrapping up with all our financial positions, and then we'll be preparing for Magic Shura, and it will be part of the Shura booklet. So it is essential that we should ensure that if you have anything, we should ensure that we do it on time. So please raise a concern, and then let's ensure that we are aligned. If there is anything, please raise it with Mutamimba. We will do necessary reconciliation. So thank you, sir. Respect for sir. So inshallah Aziz, we want to wrap it up. Let us not forget that inshallah Aziz, okay, I think just to wrap it up, respected Mutawasa, but I'm Saudi, and we are wrapping up. What's the salat? So can you say it 1 minute or less than 1 minute, please? Hello, Bram Staudi, Adiola Sab. Can you quickly speak?
Yeah, exactly, my friend, sir. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry. I think we have a short time now. So first of all, I want to especially appreciate Sadr Sab for appointing our own very respected Movi Adewale Abdurrahman Sab as our new Naib Sadr Southeast, South. And may Allah Ta'ala continue to strengthen you and the new appointee. So secondly, very quickly, I just want to implore us, and specifically to respect Sadr Sab, that if there's a way we can try as much as possible to organize programs that can help us to up our skills as regarding responding to emergencies. It will be very great if we can be able to provide some certain skilled first aid, not crude ones, rather than just waiting for ambulances or having to transport them to hospital or waiting for help. So things like organizing this Red Cross emergency first aid trainings. So maybe at our own level, it's not a must that we have to call them over to help us, like CVR, bones, and so on and so forth. So just in a jiffy. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
All right, Jazakumullah khairan, Saudi sir. So anytime we have opportunity to communicate such, we have always been doing that. I remember at the time I came across a video, particularly on how to do CVR, and I engaged the Umumi team to say, you have to communicate this thing to members of the Kudam Nigeria. And then Ishaya team did. In fact, what Mutami Ishaya suggested at that time was that maybe we should practicalize it. Maybe Office of Umumi should practicalize it. And then they would demonstrate it. They would demonstrate how a CVR is being done or could be done. So, but at that time, I said, we can't do that. I think they were unable to achieve it. So to come up with that video, probably of distance and everything like that. So, but Mutami Richard now said that if they were unable to do it within shortest possible period of time, that we would just communicate it across. So, and they sent out that video. I saw the video. It's a very short video, maybe less than 3 or 4 minutes on how to do CVR. It's a very important thing. And many times when we have anything that can help us on security or first aid attention given to be given to any person, we have always communicated that to Umumi. And then this is just to remind the office of Umumi as well that some of these things I've said it. But Ablakim Sab, are you on the call? But Ablakim Agbaji Sab. So, but Ablakim, I don't know if he's on the call. So many times, because there is a Umumi platform that I've told them that some of these things you need to come out and tell people in short form. But you know, not every time, maybe because they're also busy with other things. So I have said it that certain short videos should be shared. And then when you do all those things, you can easily communicate to people. And then, you know, all those things, people can learn from it. So I think they will take a cue for that. So respected Mutamasa, please take it as part of what is actionable by the Umumi department, so that they will take a cue from this as short videos, short maybe five action items that can be done on safety measures, security measures, or anything like that that are within the context of what Umumi can do. They should be doing it. I have said it several times. And then sometimes when I see it myself, instead of communicating it, so that it won't be like the SADR that is communicating it, I will send it to the appropriate team to do the needful, and they have always been doing that. So we work together. Being in office of SADR doesn't mean that you should be doing your guard thing. All you just expect to do is that all of us should work together. Either you are SADR or you are not SADR. Either you are a member or you are not. Nobody is special. The only person that's special before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that person that is pious. So if you are not righteous, we don't care about your office. So it's not necessary about what you put on your shoulders, whatever. You must be righteous. So that is when we can now say you are a good person. So may Allah make us righteous, may Allah make us good persons, inshallah. So Jazakumullah khairan, I still believe that the Umumi team will take that up. So let's wrap up. We want to do closing prayer now. So please join me in prayer. Surah Al-Fatiha wa salatu ala Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Jazakumullah khairan. Please, respected brothers, thank you once again for joining me. Allah bless you. I forgot to mention that the Majlis Ansar Sultan Kolam will be starting a program by 8:15, and then immediately after we observe our Salatul Isha, please let us join. I've mentioned that anything that has to do with knowledge sharing or tabligh, ta'lim, let us always join and let us always be part of this session. They are establishments by the Jamaat, by the Khulafa, or by our past leaders, some of these things, and they are beneficial to us. So anything that helps you to learn more, anything that helps you to understand Allah SWT better, understand Islam better, please always try to be part of them. May Allah SWT make it easy. So let's make efforts to join the Might and South Sultan Crime session. I think it's actually also start by 8:30, but the session would open in the next few minutes. Jazakumullah khairan, respected brothers. I love you all. I pray that Allah will bless you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الله خير. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير. أحسن الجزاء.